much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. And thanks for being here this morning. And thanks for participating in this very successful summit and for all the work you do. You all know better than anyone else that the opioid crisis is a crisis because it is the deadliest drug challenge that we've ever faced in this country. It's a crisis also because these poisons tear apart the individual user, both mentally and physically. And more than that, they destroy relationships, families, communities. Under the leadership of President Trump, ending this scourge has been the top priority of the administration and the Department of Justice. By working together, we have delivered truly great results for the American people, including declining overdose deaths for 2 years in a row. We had years, as you know, of steadily increasing overdose deaths, but for the past year, we've been able to achieve a decline. And to do that in the face of the increase in fentanyl is truly a massive achievement. I am proud of the department's work in this area. Last year, the department prosecuted more than 11,000 opioid cases. Our Appalachian Regional Prescription Opioid Strike Force, ARPO, has charged more than 70 defendants in more than a dozen districts, who are collectively responsible for distributing and prescribing more than 40 million pills. And through Operation Synthetic Opioid Surge, or SOS, another department initiative, over 300 cases were charged in 10 districts with some of the highest overdose death rates in the country. These are just a few examples of the outstanding work that all of you and your colleagues do every day. The efforts of the people in this room and the people in the Department of Justice and in our other federal agencies are having a real impact on our fellow citizens and improve people's lives. And while there's a lot more we have to do, we should be encouraged by the results to date. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce someone who really needs no introduction, an individual who has used her platform to spearhead the vital effort of fighting the opioid crisis. Indeed, our First Lady dedicates much of her time to working to protect America's children from drug addiction. This is one of the 3 pillars of her Be Best campaign, which is focused on the well-being of young people. She has participated in summits and town halls and other events across the country in order to raise awareness about the devastating and potentially lethal effects of opioid abuse. As she movingly noted a few months ago, all kids have hopes and dreams, and their futures will be determined by the choices they make. The First Lady has also sought to draw attention to the impact that opioids have on infants and the unborn. She has traveled to West Virginia, where she visited the nation's first nonprofit infant recovery center, and to Cincinnati, Ohio, where she spent time at a children's hospital to highlight ongoing research involving neonatal abstinence syndrome. The First Lady has emphasized that ending the opioid epidemic will require the entire country coming together. She is absolutely right on that, and she is doing her part to achieve that. And we are grateful that she is here with us today. So please join me in welcoming the First Lady of the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for a beautiful introduction, Attorney General Barr, and for inviting me to join today's important summit. The Department of Justice has been at the forefront of the fight against the opioids epidemic, and my husband and I are grateful for your dedication to finding solutions. Your leadership has had a real impact in our nation's efforts to combat this disease, and this is to be commended. The success across the administration is also due to all of you who are here today. Each of you play a vital role in keeping our communities and country safe. The combating efforts of local, state, and federal law enforcement has reduced the supply of illicit opioids, and for the first time in 29 years, we saw a decline in overdose deaths. From 2017 to 2018, there was a 4% decline in fatal overdoses. This is a positive and tangible impact on our country, and I thank each of you for making it possible. I know many of you joining us today are federal prosecutors and drug prosecutors. I want to thank you for routinely going above and beyond the call of duty to protect people from the dangers that come with opioids and removing them from our communities. During my first year in the White House, I launched Be Best, an initiative dedicated to ensuring that we as adults are doing all we can to take care of the next generation. Be Best focuses on 3 pillars: well-being, online safety, and opioid abuse. Since its launch, I have used my initiative to shine a light on programs that show what it means to be best. This can be showing a simple act of kindness, providing care where there is a need, or teaching something valuable. My initiative is meant to promote the positive actions happening in our communities so they can be replicated throughout the country and across the world. As First Lady of the United States, finding solutions to our nation's drug problem is something I care deeply about, especially when it comes to its negative effects on children and families. I have traveled to hospitals and rehabilitation centers around the country and have seen the devastating results of drug abuse and addiction, and I was saddened to learn that opioids have affected the lives of nearly 2.2 million children in the United States. While visiting treatment facilities across the country, I have had the opportunity to hold innocent newborns who were suffering from neonatal abstinence syndrome. On average, babies born with this condition will be in the hospital 4 times longer than a healthy newborn. I'm grateful for the facilities I have visited, such as Lily's Place in West Virginia, Boston Medical Center, and Cincinnati Children's Hospital, who are all doing their part in comforting and treating these precious lives. Sadly, opioids are the most common illicit substance for which pregnant women seek treatment. I have met the brave mothers who have entered treatment programs to turn their life around and rekindle bonds with their children. It is my sincere hope that spotlighting those programs will encourage others to adopt similar programs or come with their own approach to helping those struggling with addiction. Throughout my travels, I have witnessed the negative impacts the opioids epidemic has had on American families, and is truly devastating. I have learned that addiction and drug abuse are universal issues. They do not discriminate based on income, age, race, or where you live. I believe promoting education and awareness is crucial to overcoming this crisis. If we continue to work together, I know we can create a safer, healthier, and more hopeful world for our children. Each of you here should be proud of the contributions you are making every day. When you remove drugs and drug dealers from our communities, you are protecting American families and our nation's children. It is clear that this problem will not be solved by one person. It will take commitment and compassion from families, communities, places of worship, schools, and people like you. We all need to come together to give our children the very best future. I want to thank you all again for your outstanding work. And thank you, Attorney General Barr, for having me here today. God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless this great nation. Thank you.